What's going on, guys? Hopefully you're having a wonderful weekend. Earlier this morning I told you my hope was that we would see Congress working harder than ever to finally get a deal done now that this vaccine can be distributed. Well, this is still what many people believe is happening, that Congress is still working, still trying, still attempting to put a stimulus package together that will get bipartisan support and will satisfy the needs of Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell. Well, we know right now that they are working together, that some people in Congress are working together. Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell are not. Right now, what many people are saying is that Congress is still stalling negotiations. Some people in Congress, specifically Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, and other members of the House and Senate. Well, we know Mitch McConnell has done this in the past. Mitch McConnell stalled all stimulus negotiations back in June when he said, let's wait and see. And what was he waiting on? He wanted to wait and see what the June jobs report came out and said, but that didn't come out until July. Well, in July, then it was like, well, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what happens in July, because things looks like they're coming up. The economy is going to come back. It's coming back strong. We have this V-shaped recovery, right? That's what he was saying. Well, it didn't actually happen. He also thought the virus would be controlled before August, September, October. There's no way we get to the election and we do not have this virus controlled. That's what Republicans and Mitch McConnell were ultimately saying. But that's not what happened. And more stimulus was needed. But then we have Nancy Pelosi, where she was stalling negotiations before the election. But she was also the lead negotiator. So she'd negotiate with Steve Mnuchin. She'd get him to do something, get him to roll over and pretty much, beg to get this package done. And then she'd say, yeah, I like that. That's good. But we need the language here. And so she'd keep on trying to adjust and pivot where she was. And she came out just a couple weeks ago and said that what changed was not the virus. The virus has gotten worse. It's not the economy. The economy has gotten worse. What changed is the president. That now she has a Democratic president that will be in office, possibly. I'm not saying it's a for sure thing. It's not a done deal yet, that he would most likely be in office on January 20th. She's saying that's what changed. That's the reason why she decided to go from $3.4 trillion to down to $2.2 trillion to now she's willing to accept something right around the range of $900 billion. So she too has stalled stimulus negotiations. Well, now there are many people that believe both parties are stalling stimulus negotiations and waiting in anticipation for this January 5th Senate runoff in Georgia. This is going to be big. Right now, reports indicate that Nancy Pelosi was hoping that President Trump would have done another executive order as of right now in order to prevent evictions, in order to extend that student loan deferral, in order to possibly extend unemployment for people that are currently not working. Well, being that President Trump and most likely the Trump administration knows the games Nancy Pelosi and Democrats are playing, they are not going to go through with any of these executive orders, which is going to be devastating to millions and millions of people. And Republicans, they were hoping that Democrats wouldn't force their hand, into doing something that they weren't comfortable with at that time. That's the reports we're getting right now, is that these congressmen and women, our lawmakers, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, everybody in Congress, they're just playing these political games. These partisan politics are killing Americans. Right now, both parties are going to continue to play these political games, and it is because of what is going to happen in Georgia. We are less than a month away. So right now, these games are only going to be amplified. We're going to see these more and more often, especially if we do not see a stimulus package by December 18th, which is 6 days away. If we do not see that, then we are going to see pretty much amplified political games. It's going to be all over the news. We're going to see it. We're already seeing the Senate, the candidates in Georgia fighting, debating We're already seeing that. Okay, this is where Congress is headed. Now, to give you an idea of what is on the line here, okay, I decided I wanted to break down exactly what is in both the $908 billion package and the $916 billion package as well. So, I want to show you what's in that. So, in order to do that, I decided to put together a little bit of a sheet so that you can kind of follow along. So, let's dive into that right now. So here's what's in these two packages. I just want to break it down. I decided to put these numbers on a little spreadsheet so that you guys can see. But let's break this down, and I want to show you where there is some divisiveness right now. So first off, we got the PPP loan. Okay, so that bipartisan, they're at 288, and we got Steve Mnuchin and the $916 billion proposal. That is at 320. All these numbers are in billions as well. 82, we have agreement there. Transportation, the $908 billion package is at $45 billion. The other one's at 31. So there is some agreement there. Healthcare, food assistance, housing assistance, vaccine distribution, community lender program, childcare, and broadband all have agreement. They all have agreement. Okay? So what is so troubling right now, and this is what a lot of people are saying, is that why can't we just get something right here on these things right there? Why can't we just pass that? Okay, so that's where we have some agreement there. As far as the USPS, this is where we have some disagreement. The Steve Mnuchin plan for $916 billion, they don't want to offer anything for the United States Postal Service other than a loan. So we got that. As far as the tax deduction for meals, this is something that Mitch McConnell really likes. He thinks this would really help businesses. Steve Mnuchin likes this as well. Democrats don't like this. This one right here would actually just help out the more wealthier people. So this right there, we kind of have some disagreement on that one. As far as student loans, the bipartisan group, they want to pretty much, this $4 billion is to somewhat pay off some of these student loans. So that right there, they have a disagreement there as well. State and local governments. I put this down at the bottom of this list, not because this is a disagreement. It's because right now, what's happening is this one right here. This is more of a Nancy Pelosi thing. Okay, this is kind of her thing. She really wants this, but if Mitch McConnell cannot get his thing, which is liability protections, which is this right here. If Mitch McConnell can't get that, then this right here is most likely not going to happen. Okay? This will be very clear. Now, here's the good thing. Here's the really good thing about what we have going on down here at the bottom, though. As far as unemployment benefits, okay, the unemployment checks, what we are seeing is with the 908 bipartisan package, this one is actually including $180 billion. The $180 billion goes to extend the unemployment benefit for 4 months, plus it adds on $300 per week, and this starts on January 1st, and this one right here, it will go for 4 months as well, for $300 per week. So, at the end of this, it's a 16-week thing, it would go and you'd get about $4,800, you would get $4,800 in excess of your state unemployment benefits. However, this one right here, the $40 billion from the $916 billion proposal, that one only accounts for $40 billion. You do not see any $300 per week bonus, and all you're seeing here is a 1-month extension for unemployment. It will go, instead of extending or expiring on December 31st, it will actually expire on January 31st, and this is kind of just pushing it into the next administration, and then Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the Biden administration can deal with it then. That's kind of what this is doing. As far as stimulus checks, what I want to just be clear with you right now is the only package that has stimulus checks is the $916 billion proposal that Steve Mnuchin has proposed. Now, this is at $600 per person. Many people do not think that is enough. I personally don't think that is enough. There's many economists that say if we only see $600 per person, it's not going to help out as much as these unemployment checks right here would. So that's what's currently on the table. And there's no unemployment, there's no stimulus check there. There's none in the $908 billion bipartisan package. So here's the issue, and this is where a lot of people are currently struggling is, well, what is the better package? Well, it doesn't matter what is the better package. Right now, it doesn't matter if it's this $908 or this $916 billion package. It doesn't matter. What matters is which one can get bipartisan support. And as of right now, the only thing that we know that can get bipartisan support is this stuff right here. That's it. That's what we know is going to get bipartisan support. Guess I can probably do that as well. That one's in there. But the other thing that we know is, yes, there is some funding for state and local governments right here. That's included. There's some agreement on unemployment, but as a whole, they aren't agreeing yet. And based on what Mitt Romney said just the other day, is right now we know there's about $750 billion that is being approved right now. That's what we know. That's all they can approve, or all they can agree on is about $750 billion. So as of right now, we'll see if that goes anywhere. Hopefully it does. But that's what we know is in these packages at this point. So as you can see, there's a lot of agreement in the $908 and $916 billion proposals. There's a lot of agreement. And based on what Mitt Romney has said just recently, is that we have agreement on about $750 billion worth of legislation. But why can't we just get that passed and we can work on the other stuff later? That's the big deal. Now, granted, some things are not completely agreed upon, like unemployment benefits. Republicans would rather have $400 billion or $40 billion, rather than $180 billion. But at the same time, they are not opposed to passing something that is at $180 billion, but they don't want to pass state and local government funding if there's no liability protections. So it has to be both or nothing at all. And then when it comes to many economists, hundreds of economists are saying that state and local government funding should be a priority. It has to be a priority, because if it's not, and a lot of these states start laying off and a lot of local governments start laying off their employees, what's going to happen is now these employees are going to go to the unemployment lines. Well, what happens then? Well, when unemployment increases, the economy actually suffers. So that's what we know right now. But the only problem with either one of these packages is that, and this is a big problem. It's mainly the only problem, but it's a huge problem to have, is if neither one of these packages passes, then all the stuff that's in agreement right now doesn't pass. We don't see it. This means Nancy Pelosi needs to agree, and so does Mitch McConnell. Congress has to agree. Right now, we have the numbers. We have the numbers in the House to pass either one of these bills. Either one, I guarantee, would pass. As long as if we took out state and local government and we took out liability protections, either one of these proposals would pass. Guaranteed. Now, in the Senate, Mitch McConnell does not want to put this bill on the floor because he knows it would pass. And it would exclude state and local government funding, and it would exclude liability protections, but he knows it would pass. Which, according to all the experts right now, is if this passes, and Mitch McConnell has been saying this whole time, it's not going to pass, my caucus will not support this, it now makes the Republican senators that are trying to win in Georgia, it's going to make them seem kind of questionable. Well, okay, why would Republicans or people on the fence vote for you when your party is so divided in the Senate? And so that's going to make things a little bit more difficult. So looking weak at this time and looking divided is not a good look over in Georgia. Now, what I want you to understand is that many are saying they don't see a stimulus package getting done by December 18th. 6 days away. They just don't see it getting done. I'm very optimistic it does. I feel there's more of a need now that this vaccine can be distributed. Not saying I'm going to rush out and get this vaccine. I'm not going to do that. And let me know down in the comment section below. Are you going to go and get a vaccine as soon as it's available to you? Let me just give you my take. Okay? Let me just give you my take because some people have been asking. For me personally and my family, what I am doing is I am keeping an eye on what's going on in the UK. I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on here in the United States as this vaccine starts to get distributed. But the UK is about 1 week ahead of us, which means that we can see what's happening in the UK, and then we can kind of make a best guess, a judgment call from there. If we see a lot of people having adverse side effects and it's not really helping, their cases continue to go up, then I will most likely will not get this vaccine for a little while, until I know for sure I'm not going to have all these adverse side effects. Again, what people are saying and what the advisory committee for the FDA said is they see the risks do not outweigh the reward of this vaccine. So right now, that's just my take, but again, things can change. You have to make your own decision. Now, others are saying that, yes, it might not pass by the 18th, but others are saying if a deal doesn't get done by then don't expect to get done by December 31st either. So it would have to happen after December 31st if it doesn't happen before December 18th. And others are saying that, and a handful of people are saying this exact same thing, and this is what I personally believe is a very likely option. I don't want it to happen. I hope I'm wrong, but this is something I've been saying for a while is a high possibility. Is if a deal isn't done by December 31st, then I do not expect Nancy Pelosi and Democrats to accept a deal anytime between December 31st and January 6th. I expect Nancy Pelosi will hold out for 1 more week to see what happens in Georgia. That's my expectation. Again, I hope I'm wrong. I'm very optimistic a deal gets done this week. But if it doesn't get done this week, I could see more negotiations happen over Christmas. I could see it happen the final week of December. But if we get that far in, I have a feeling Nancy Pelosi is going to just push it back until January 6th. And most likely what she's going to say is, and she'll probably come out and almost urge President Trump to just do an executive order. If you don't feel we are getting it done, come out, do an executive order. Step up. That's most likely what's going to happen. So we'll see. The problem with this kind of thinking is on December 26th, the unemployment benefits run out for millions of Americans. On December 31st, the eviction moratorium expires, and it most likely won't be until January 20th where Nancy Pelosi finally gets her way when we could see a Democratic president in office. Again, we don't know that yet. The Electoral College meets on Monday, and they will cast their votes then. What I can tell you is this coming week is going to be filled with a lot of twists, turns, ups, and downs. So I'll keep you updated on everything that's going on. Not to mention that Congress still has to pass the government funding bill before December 18th. That is the reason why there's a December 18th deadline, because it was actually December 11th, which was yesterday. And the problem is, well, it's not a problem now, but they waited so long, they took so much time, they had to delay that shutdown for 1 more week through a pretty much a 1 week government stopgap bill. Now, they don't anticipate to extend it anymore. Many people are opposed to this bill, but we will see what happens in only 6 days. The only good news I can give you right now is that there are still people fighting. There are still people fighting for a stimulus package, a comprehensive stimulus package. Some are fighting for stimulus checks. Some are fighting for additional PPP funding for small businesses. And some are fighting for anything that can get an agreement. They just want to get something done. Let's get rental assistance done, and we'll work on the rest of the stuff later. Then another person says, let's get PPP funding done. We'll work on the rest later. Let's get stimulus checks done, and we'll work on the rest later. Let's just do state and local government funding, and we'll work on the rest later. This is what we're hearing. Let's get these just standalone bills done, and we can work on the rest later. I expect we're going to see more people proposing different packages and possibly standalone bills sometime this week. So we'll see. So just wanted to fill you in on what's happening right now regarding stimulus negotiations and currently where we're at. But consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.